Was selected today to hear the federal court trial of Donald Stevens, the president of the village of Rosemont. Stevens and two other men are charged with mail fraud. They're accused of defrauding the village of Rosemont in an alleged real estate scheme. John Drummond has details on that.
The 56-year-old Stevens, Rosemont's only president in the village's 28-year history, arrived at the federal building accompanied by his attorney, former federal judge John Powers Crowley. The controversial Stevens flashed a thumbs-up sign as he and his lawyer walked to an elevator. Stevens is no stranger to the Dirksen Federal Building. Less than a year ago, he was acquitted on charges that he failed to report $77,000 in income on his tax returns. Stevens' current legal troubles stem from allegations that he received $87,000 in kickbacks. On trial with Stevens are 41-year-old Isaac Deggan and 43-year-old Raymond Rosado, partners in the Deggan and Rosado Construction Company. The three are charged in a 13-count indictment charging them with mail fraud. Stevens' years as Rosemont Village president have been marked by a building boom in the northwest suburb near O'Hare Field. The suburb's proximity to the airport makes it a natural for the big hotel chains to build there. But Stevens' pride and joy is the Horizon, the first major arena to have been built in the Chicago area in the last 50 years. Stevens, though, is often embroiled in controversy, and few persons take a neutral stance toward the man.
Very good man. I mean, he takes care of the people here, Rosemont, to the finest, you know.
What do you think he's done for this town?
Little or nothing.
So you're not one of his biggest fans?
No, I'm not, no.
I think he's a very nice man. Very nice gentleman. I've always, I wait on him all the time, and he's always treated me very well.
Stevens, who once toiled as a milkman, is never one to shun the spotlight. Stevens was one of the first to congratulate President Reagan after the president addressed a big GOP rally at the Horizon 2 days before last November's election. Investigations by various agencies, including the Justice Department, the State's Attorney's Office, the Liquor Control Commission, and the BGA, apparently haven't fazed Stevens. Stevens was once quoted as saying that he was probably the most investigated SOB in the world. His current skirmish with Uncle Sam is expected to last 3 weeks. He took the witness stand in his last trial, and he'll probably testify in his own behalf again.
The village. John Drummond has latest details from the Dirksen Federal Building. John?
Federal Judge George Layton, after instructing the jury late this afternoon, dismissed the jurors for the evening. The 7-man, 5-woman jury will begin deliberations tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Stevens, a one-time milkman, has been the president of the village of Rosemont since the Northwest Suburban Community was incorporated 29 years ago. The 56-year-old Stevens and 2 contractors are charged with 11 counts of mail fraud in connection with 2 complex real estate transactions involving the Rosemont Horizon. Prosecutors contend the deals enabled Stevens to pocket $87,000 in kickbacks. The 2 contractors, partners in a Bloomingdale construction company, are Isaac Deegan, shown here, and Raymond Rosado. The Deegan-Rosado firm has performed millions of dollars worth of no-bid work for the village of Rosemont. In closing arguments, prosecutor Scott Lazar accused Stevens of having a giant conflict of interest by not disclosing his share of the land deal, which netted Stevens $87,000. Defense lawyers call the government allegations hogwash, baloney, a charade. Referring to the 3 defendants, lawyer Robert Stevenson said, "At all times, these men acted in good faith and acted in the interests of the village and its citizens." On Monday, outside the presence of the jury, Judge Layton said he reserved the right to acquit the defendants, even if the jury finds the 3 defendants guilty. Now, under federal law, a judge can, in effect, overrule a jury's decision if the judge believes the verdict is inconsistent with the evidence. Reporting from the lobby of the Dirksen Federal Building, John Drummond, returning you now to our newsroom.
Put together a series of land deals that netted the mayor more than $87,000. The defense called no witnesses and convinced the jury that Stevens and the others were simply sharp businessmen who knew a good deal when they saw one.
Man acquitted of charges of mail fraud. He was accused of violating conflict of interest laws in real estate deals that netted him $87,000. Just 1 year ago, he was acquitted of income tax violations in the same courthouse. He let his attorney do the talking.
Dan, one question. You said that you were probably the most investigated SOB in the country. Why is that, you suppose?
And he's also right now the most vindicated SOB in the country.
The jury also acquitted 2 other defendants, Raymond Rosa in the open collar there, and Isaac Degan, the owners of a suburban contracting business. They had been accused of paying kickbacks to Stevens.
Jim is here to tell us what the mayor had to say about his reputation and about his future. Jim?
Well, Floyd, we'll back it up just a little bit about his background. And, of course, Donald Stevens has been under investigation by one federal agency or another, the FBI or the IRS, for almost as long as he's been mayor of Rosemont. And that's a long time, 29 years. Because of long-rumored ties to organized crime in the village that is best known for its stadium, convention center, and hotels, Stevens has been under close scrutiny. In 1983, when he was indicted for tax evasion, and a few months later for mail fraud, it appeared that his long public career might be coming to an end. But he was found not guilty of all charges. And today in his office, it was the future he wanted to talk about, even though he can't forget the past.
We really have built quite a community here. And I think the people understand it. Maybe the people outside of Rosemont don't, but the people who live here do.
The jury found Stevens not guilty of mail fraud in connection with a secret land deal that netted him an $87,000 profit.
We built an exhibition center. We built the Horizon Stadium, a town of 4,000 people. When I had the first press conference and announced that we were going to do it, everybody laughed. They're standing there today. Now, nobody thought that we could build those 2 facilities with a town of 4,000 people. But we built it. It's not so incredulous to believe that I can make money with a piece of real estate.
Stevens faces re-election on April 2nd. He is considered a sure victor. Those willing to speak publicly about him do so in glowing terms.
It's a great victory for the man, a great victory for the mayor, and a great victory for his family, and a great victory for the village of Rosemont.
But there are some in Rosemont who feel that Stevens is going too far in developing commercial property and destroying the residential areas of the village. One of them will be the mayor's first election opponent in 14 years.
If they choose me, it means that they're obviously looking to keep the community the way it is. If they vote for Mayor Stevens, then obviously they want what he wants.
And that sign that you saw a little earlier outside the Rosemont Horizon Stadium today was spelling out congratulations to Mayor Stevens, a most unusual salutation since it meant congratulations on not being convicted and sent to jail. That's Rosemont for you, and it's still clearly Don Stevens' town. Floyd?
It may be a community of only 4,000 people. Don Stevens obviously is a sophisticated, big city mayor.
He's been doing well in that aspect. The opponent says he has not done so well for the citizens. On Election Day, we'll see if they agree.
As the opponent said, it's what the citizens want from their village, isn't it? Maybe a low tax base is it.